everybody, it's Big Dave. Under toilet. Howdy and welcome to Sitting on the Toilet. As you may have noticed, I am not on a toilet, but we will still be discussing things that you would think about while on the toilet. There we go, my fishing line. So we're taking this one outside. I tried going to this park near me with this beautiful green hill, but there was these kids bicycling on it, and one of them had a sled board thing tied to the back, and they were taking that down the hill while the other paddled. Looked like a whole lot of fun, but I didn't want to be screaming and shouting and saying what I had to say while they were having their fun. So I drove out to another state park, and it had a lake, so I figured, well, if I'm going to the lake, I might as well do some fishing, because all I do in these videos are talk. So today's topic, I'll be sharing some stories since I'm fishing. I'm sure I'll be sharing some fishing stories, but we'll be mostly talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot, I've always wanted to believe in. I believe in aliens more than Bigfoot. I just think the possibilities are just bigger for aliens, because that's just anything living outside of our Earth. While Bigfoot is a thing larger than a person that lives on the Earth, that's just so elusive. And just like UFO stories, you'll get these Bigfoot stories from these really credible people, military people with a lot of backgrounds in like nature and like geography and that type of field, that you feel like you should be able to trust about this type of topic that deals with nature and animals. And one of my favorite shows is River Monsters, and one of the reasons that's one of my favorites is he looks for these fish with these tales and legends, and some of them sound like they ain't gonna exist, no way, but there's a fish that it's based on, and it's talking about like shaking the earth and eating people whole and all that, while in reality it doesn't do any of that. So I almost wonder if Bigfoot, because Bigfoot you can find in any culture almost, as far as Asia and even in North America. Australia has their own version. Not always like a 7-10 foot creature. There's also variations where they're only 4 foot tall, but it's some kind of like wild man. And you gotta wonder where these stories came from. Is this a real thing that we have on Earth? Or were these stories explaining something that our ancestors couldn't explain earlier on? A lot of times mistaken identity is used for Bigfoots, like a bear walking on its hind legs. But you know, I've heard stories from people that I don't see a reason why they would lie about a Bigfoot running across a road in 3 steps. I'm sure a bear could walk that, but not in 3 steps. One of my favorite Bigfoot sightings came from this Nazi. They were occupying this town, and there was a lot of talk from the locals about this monster that lived up in a cave. Well, the Nazis thought that this was a Jewish person that ran off and is hiding up in the woods, so they went up with the arm of troops, and they described this kind of monstrous howl, yell-like type thing. And they were yelling like, "Come on out, or we're coming in armed." Next thing you know, you have this like 8 foot, 9 foot wild beast-like man thing running out, and he runs away. And that comes from a general in the military. Now, of course, with this being Nazis, they were always interested in the unknown. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was a general. He made up some kind of story to impress Hitler. You know, it's a strange world we live in. And we have found like skeleton bones of large human-like structures. Oh, shite. But we've never found a body. That makes you wonder if they bury their dead, or if they do something where, I know some animals do this, where when it's time for them to go, they find a common resting ground and they pass away there. So do we have Bigfoots going on this remote hill or something that we just ain't checking, and that's where they're dying off? Or do they truly bury their dead? And if they bury their dead, you know, this thing could probably easily make a 10-foot hole. I remember the Survivor Man even, I like his show, but he came out with the Bigfoot one, and I watched one episode, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I mean, I'm not all too savvy with the outdoors, but I know a thing or two. And everything he was pulling as Bigfoot, besides one or two things, could have been explained easily. There was a lot, he was finding these prints in the ground that looked bear-like, and they even had claw markings in the ground. Everyone knows a Bigfoot foot looks more human-like. They don't have like the pads like a bear or dog has. Scratches on trees that easily bear, and just stuff like that. Things you want to look for whenever you're on you want to look for these like bed-like things made with the ground, and they should be a pretty good size because if Bigfoot's laying there. You want to find tree branches of trees that look like they were snapped, like pulled down, and you want them to be pretty thick. You don't want them to be looking like some kid could be doing it or some guy could be doing it. And Bigfoots will often do this over paths and we don't know why. We don't know if it's warning other Bigfoots because they're so elusive to not go this way. Humans go this way. I swear to God. Or warning others, stay out of this. This is our territory. Which I personally don't believe because they seem nomadic. If they exist, they follow a routine around America that they travel. And I think it's more of a warning. But I ain't got a Bigfoot story, but I've seen these where it looks like it's an obvious path. It's kind of out in the beaten neck, and it forms an X. And these are big branches. It looked like something definitely had to snap it. And they were often, the branch would be 10 feet on the tree, 10 feet up in the air on the tree. And that's what you look for. You can do wood knocks. A lot of times Bigfoots, I'm not sure if they grab a piece of wood and they bang it, or they literally knock the trees, and you listen and you try to get a response. And then of course there's the Bigfoot howls, and you have your whoops, which are supposed to imitate, from my opinion, a female Bigfoot or a younger Bigfoot. They are often higher pitch, or this very low howl, growl type thing. I'll do a demonstration on the whoop. I'm not really too sure how to do the other one. So we didn't get nothing back. I'll do one more.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
I heard some splashing. I'm now going to demonstrate a wood knock. I'll do a set of 2 more.
Nothing!
It's a shame. I thought we were going to get a reply. You know, we're out in the woods. But who knows, maybe when I go back and edit the video, I'll hear something. They also might not be in my area yet, because as you see, a lot of the trees are still dead. Life hasn't returned here yet. So maybe next time when I do one of these videos outside, I'll do a little extra, like maybe at the end of my outside videos, I'll do like a little extra on the hunt, you know, for Bigfoot. But I'm really not sure what you would do when you find them. They always say don't shoot them, which I agree with. But I don't know what you would do. I mean, a net. I don't think nets really work like how they do in the movies, because it seems like they just throw them on the person and it's like just retardation hits in and they can't get out. So, and yeah, there's nets with like weights around them, but we're talking about an animal that apparently can pull trees out of the ground and stick them upside down. So I don't think a net with some little fishing weights on it will do the trick. And you don't want to kill the thing, you don't want to shoot it. We want to photograph it, but in this day and age, it's so easy to fake something. I don't think that'll be enough proof. We need like some good, solid, like, is hair enough? I know there's been Bigfoot hair that's been sent in, but if we got real Bigfoot hair, could we actually like tell it was Bigfoot? Or do we have to find a Bigfoot, say this is the DNA for Bigfoot, and then we can match the hair to a Bigfoot DNA? Is that how that works? Because that's how our DNA system works in the criminal justice, you know, system. You know, if someone commits a crime and they get their DNA, they don't know who it is unless they're already in the system. So I guess, I was talking about like, because Bigfoot should be pretty intelligent, and I was talking before how don't put it past aliens to abduct and do tests to learn, because if we found a Bigfoot without killing it, we're gonna have to abduct it, do some tests on it, put it in like a zoo type thing and see what happens. And it seems like these things are pretty intelligent if they're able to avoid humans like they do. If they're real, these things are crazy smart. No doubt about it. So how do we prove a Bigfoot's real without capturing one so we can like actually do some tests? I mean, you don't want to cut a finger off one. You don't want to cut the head off. I don't think a finger will do much. I think you'll need the head. You'd have to capture it. You'd have to abduct it. So if humans found aliens on another planet, I guess, because I mean, look how long we've been looking for Bigfoot. I don't think a simple conversation, we're gonna have to get that thing in a cage and then try talking. And if we can't come to grounds on communication, we're gonna have to bring it into the test labs. So if we found aliens that were like pretty intelligent, or like that were in the tribe level that people were, but still sentient species, what would our government do to them? As you see, we actually found a little clue of a Bigfoot being around. I found some leftovers of what looks like a Bigfoot may have eaten. They're Sour Patch gummies. You know, these things having things that are like human teeth. They don't brush their teeth and they gotta eat soft things like gummies. So we gotta pick that up for more analysis and see if we might be able to find, I don't know, some Bigfoot hairs. Over here we have another drink. I don't recognize what it is. We're gonna have to pick that up and analyze it in case there's any like Bigfoot saliva on it. These Bigfoots are known. Oh my God, look. We hit the mother lode. We're gonna, we must be close to one. Look, there's a can and a bottle over there. They are known to take cans from campers from when they're sleeping and drink them and then just throw the cans everywhere. They're a nuisance on the ecosystem, so I don't really understand why people say don't shoot them when you see one. I say shoot one, because these little bastards, little 10-foot bastards, are throwing empties all over their drink. They're stealing campers' beers and just throwing the empties everywhere. And they're eating kids' Sour Patch. They're stealing candy from kids and throwing them. They're jamming them in logs so no one can find them. So no one can find their little hidden snacking area. But I'm on to you, Bigfoot. And I carry a 45. If I see you, I might have to get all you know. John Wayne. But this has been Sitting on the Toilet. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm Big Dave. Hit that like, subscribe. Hopefully I catch something real nice.